What's up, everybody? It's Wednesday. You know what time it is. It's time to talk a little bit of Bad Batch. That's right. We're going to get some things hashed out today. We're going to talk about some things we think might be happening, and we're going to see what's what. So, yeah, stick around, click the like button. If you're just stopping in for a minute, hit the subscribe button. You'll see what kind of things are going on here. We're also going to talk a little bit more about maybe some surprises if we have anybody stop in. We'll talk about some more conversations that need to be had. But for right now, we're just going to hang out. We're going to talk about Bad Batch, and we're going to go through all the stuff on that episode because there was a lot to process there. There's a lot going on, and it was a bittersweet ending to this episode. I was very happy, and I gotta say, if you don't get emotional at the end of this episode, then you just don't have a heart. This episode was pretty good, pretty good. I gotta be honest. There's a lot of little things that I thought could have been different, but ultimately getting the band back together, I think, is the number one priority of the show right now. So moving forward, we're going to see what happens. But yeah, if you haven't seen this episode, I think you should probably take a step outside and hang out for a little bit, because we're going to probably spoil some shit for you. So if you haven't watched the episode, I recommend you go and watch, and then come back, and we'll probably still be here because I think it was a pretty lengthy episode. So we'll see what's up. Brandon, what is up, Brandon? Hello and welcome. It's Wednesday. I hope everybody's starting to enjoy their downtime at the end of the day. If you're in Europe, well, we're probably just starting your day. So what's up, Brandon? Daniel's here. Maximus is here. Stanley's is here, the usual band of misfits. Maximus, how's the campaign been going on Helldivers? I've been catching you guys in the VCs, getting together, going to kill some aliens. So what's up, Lobo? Welcome back. Good to see you here. So yeah, let's talk about this episode. Let's just start off. Go ahead and put a 1 in the chat if you were really happy with this episode. Put a 2 in the chat if you thought this episode was just trash. Was dog water, as the kids say. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the chat. Like I said, 1 for good, 2 for bad. Let's just keep it pretty simple, and then we can go from there. Yeah, there's a lot of things going on. We're gonna start doing more. I'm gonna try to keep up and not get so lazy, and do some actually do some videos and try to do some shorts. There's a couple things that I've recently discovered that I'm really interested in, but really the big thing that we're saving up for is April and May. So over the course of the next month or so, we're going to be figuring out what we are going to be doing in the Disney After Dark parks. So we have, there's some updates there. And then we're debating on what to do with, we're debating what to do. And I like some of your input. So if you guys want to talk about that, we're going to talk about that at the end of the stream. A couple of updates. We'll see if we can grab a few details about what's coming at the end. So stick around, because Star Wars Late Night After Dark is going to be a lot of fun. And yeah, I have some updates for you guys. So we're gonna go from there. But ultimately, okay. So this episode of the Bad Batch, I'm gonna go ahead and pull it up so we can do what we usually do, and just walk through the whole episode and see where we're at. You guys can tell me what mile markers are what, and so on and so forth. If you did notice, like overnight, they changed the menu setting. Okay, so we're at the end here. So we're going to bring this guy over here so that I can pull it up when I need to. We're going to go all the way to the beginning, and I don't think you guys will be able to hear it, but we're probably going to mute it anyway. So let's Let's see. We want to mute this sucker. There we go. Okay. So, yo, what up, Matt? What up? What up? What? Oh, wait. Hold on. I got to switch that back. Hold on, Matt. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. This is just for Matt. Hold on. And I ain't got to put. There we go. Oh, no, got to put. Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Okay.
This is just for Matt. Yo, what up, Matt? There's some stuff coming and you guys don't even know about it. What up?
All right. So, getting back to Bad Batch. So, we start this episode where we knew where it left off last time, where we knew things were going to happen. So the odd couple, the super pessimistic and the super optimistic, Omega and Crosshair are jumping into hyperspace in their damaged ship, and they jump into hyperspace in their damaged ship. That's all we saw last. And then they go ahead and they're having some problems, the usual suspects. They gotta get into some kind of trouble. They can't just jump to a fun, eager place. They got to get some story in here. So basically, the gist of this first part of this episode is, they land on a ship. They land their ship. Well, actually, crash their ship, and then they have to disembark. They grab whatever they had took with them, blasters and such. And then it jumps over to Hemlock, and this dude's real twisted. Like, I really dig this guy's character. I think as far as villains are concerned, I'm really digging Hemlock's character. He's super dark. He's super twisted, and he is all about getting the mission done, right? And I don't know if it's a personal mission. Like, I'm curious what's under that mitt, right? Because he's got this hand. He's always like, he can't really feel, maybe, or something's wrong with it, right? So, yeah, there's there's something up with dude. That's all I gotta say. So anyway, we see him with his Delta guards, and he goes to talk to Nalase, and he basically tells her, we're gonna catch the girl. Like, this is the Empire. Come on, let's be real here. I'm gonna get what I want out of this. And we know you've been fudging the results. We just didn't know why, or we just didn't know you were fudging the results until now. And so now we figured it out. My only thing is, I mean, she knows how to do this, or is this something that's trapped in the Cheminoan database, right? Is this something that she doesn't necessarily know how to do? She just knows that Omega is possible, basically. Yeah, they disembarked. They leave. Hemlock is such a good villain, right? Because he's so tactically smart, but yet he's so mean that you can't help but not like him, right? So it's really great writing for his character. Yeah, damage your fake hand. That's what I was thinking. Is this like an Anakin robotic mitt that he just misses the feeling of his real mitt, and that's why he's so into cloning? Or did he try to clone a mitt and it went terribly wrong, and it's like always on fire? So like there's so many different variation. Yo, what up, Griff? What up? Yeah, there's so many different things that it could be. I'm not really sure what direction they're going to take this in yet, but there's something up with dude's mitt. I don't know what it is about that guy's paw, but there's something really amiss about that foot. Anyway, about that paw. So he's talking to Nalase, basically telling him we're going to find her, then we're going to cut her up into little pieces. And knowing that she aided and abetted and was hiding the truth about her identity, so on and so forth. So Hemlock lays down the law there. That's the last we see, and then Nalase looks all depressed. So then we get to this spaceport. Now this spaceport is pretty big in size here. We're going to let's go to present, share screen. That way I can share a little bit here and there. Okay, so this spaceport looks pretty big, right? We're gonna switch this around because I like being on the other side. Okay, so this spaceport looks pretty big. It seems like an industrious little place, right? So yeah, we're gonna remove that. We're gonna go. Oh no, we don't want to do that. Let's go here for a minute. Okay, and then yep. So we get to this spaceport, and Omega and Crosshair are figuring out that the Empire's already got a nice stake in the claim of this little space mining town, this little middle of nowhere town. Yeah, really good writing, loving it. Hope it gets more. Yeah, I hope it comes. Like I said, this is the end of the series, but hopefully this is going to fill in some great gaps. Yeah, hopefully it'll fill in some good gaps. So anyway, we're moving on through the episode. Omega being basically the great tactician, much like Boba Fett himself, being the great tactician she is, she's like, look, we got to find some other clothes, right? We can't sit here with Kaminoan badges on our clothes. We can't do any of that. We gotta change it up, right? So it's interesting, her tactical mind versus somebody like Crosshair that is just mission oriented, right? There's no empathy, there's no nothing. It's just, this is the mission, this is how I have to accomplish the mission. Here we go, we're bugging out. So you know, long story short, we're not going to sit here and go through the whole episode bit by bit. The Empire doesn't realize that they're there yet. They have their costumes, their disguises, if you will, and they try to bribe their way. I found this really interesting. They try to bribe their way. Well, they're not just prison suits. Yes, they are prison suits. Yes, but they're not just prison suits. They're Kaminoan prison suits. So they've got that Kaminoan writing on their sleeve, the cloners, if you will. So they got to get out of that stuff, right? Because it's like a giant red beacon saying arrest me, right? So anyway, what I find real interesting, I find this scene, I'm gonna pause it real quick. I find this scene pretty interesting right here. And the reason that I do is because Omega tries to like almost Jedi mind trick this person. She's like, oh, well, what would it take for you to just look the other way on those chain codes, right? And to my surprise, I thought for sure this was going to be the whistle that gets them in trouble, right? I thought this was going to be the moment they got in a whole lot of trouble. But yeah, much like our friend Watto, my tricks don't work on me, only money, right? So she's like, look, sorry, kid, but can't do it, right? Bring back, like, I gotta make it worth my while. You see how many troopers around here? It's gonna be like, let's say 15 grand. And she's like, dang, 15 grand for 2 tickets. She's like, no, baby, that's for just one. So they need 30 grand in credits to get the ball rolling, right? So they move forward. They're looking around. They're kind of pouting, trying to figure out what to do. And then Omega has this bright idea to go play sabacc. And this is, the more I say it, the more I think about it, and the more I say it, the more I think that they should do a sabacc card game, right? Call it what you want, like Marvel Snap, if you will. But I think that they should create. I think it would be fun if Lucasfilm and Disney, more so, created sabacc with an actual set of rules that we can watch and go through, because we see it in so many instances of, obviously it's gambling, so Disney doesn't want it to be like that, but make it kind of like an Uno game. I mean, people can bet on, you can bet on anything. You can bet on Uno, you can bet on, Skippo, you can bet on anything. I mean, dominoes, spades, hearts. I mean, you can bet on anything. So bingo, for F's sake. So I would love to play Sabak. I think it would be a fun game to be able to play online, whether there's an online platform or if it's just to play in person with some cards. Um, I think it would be cool. I think it's just another opportunity to make money. I mean, if nothing else, there's always going to be potato heads like me that are like, "That's cool. I'll buy that. That's cool. I'm a dummy. You take my money because I'm just a shill that loves everything that you do, Disney. Thank you." Right? Um, See, they said that's what I'm saying. But I need official rules, right? I need this to be like every other game in the world. I need a rule book and I need a full listing of what's what so we could go over it. So if that's true, then in April I'm going to bring back a deck and we're going to go through the rules of Sabak because it's something that we don't get enough of. So um yeah, so hollow chess, Sabak, yeah, all of that can be made, and I think Sabak is a good idea just because then we can, you know, when we're in the hotels for these conventions, it's not like, hey, let's go beat the shit out of each other with giant laser sticks, right? Like, oh, how about we sit down, have a drink, play some Sabak, maybe bet a couple, quarter nickel dime, penny nickel dime, whatever, and just have some fun and chop it up. So, um, yeah, I think that's a good idea. Maybe a missed opportunity. Hopefully, they're going to dive into that a little more and give us something simple. I mean, that would be a really good app. You link up with one guy, or like a chess game. You link up with one guy, it deals the deck, and boom, 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 you got it. So, um, yeah, another opportunity. Like I said, Disney, you just need to hire. Disney just needs to hire me for money making opportunities because there's a lot of them they leave on the floor. There's a lot of crumbs on the floor that they don't bother picking up. And not to mention, I wish I was smarter, but I digress. So yeah, so let's get back to the Bad Batch. Um, uh, Omega is watching a Sabak game now. If you remember, if you go back to the previous season, she is a little wizard when it comes to all games, right? So she's got this. Now, I don't know if it's because, and we haven't been through this yet. This is another thing that we haven't really talked about yet. It is Omega's strategy and her ability to win at all games part of her M count? So does she? No, no, no. So she doesn't have the M count. She has the material that can be fused with the M count. That's the mistake that I think a lot of people are making. She doesn't have a high metachlorine count. They're using her blood sample to see if it can be fused with a Jedi's blood to transfer metachlorines. So, look, there's so much more, guys. Or yeah, there's so much more. So anyway, she wants to play Sabak. She goes up and wants to play. So the dude laughs at her. Everybody underestimates Omega because she's a child, but they don't realize how super hyper intelligent she is. So she sits down. Guy laughs at her. She's got no credits. Her and Crosshair kind of had a conversation about it, and she's like, "Look, sometimes you gotta lay it out on the line, right? Sometimes you gotta bet what you don't got, right?" And so she goes to the table with no money, and within moments, she's drawn a crowd, and she has taken all of dude's credits, right? And I mean, she just keeps whooping that ass and cleans them out. And then things you think, right then they had us thinking. They're like, hold on, wait a minute. This is a good time to get out of here, go take your ship and go meet Hunter and Wrecker. But no, no, no. What again, back to great writing in the Bad Batch. They introduce another obstacle for Omega and for Crosshair to deal with. Now, this next character that they introduce, we're gonna put him up on the screen. Oh, what a perfect place to do that. So uh they introduced this character. I can't really even describe him properly. So I'm not going to try. I'm just going to add him to the stream. Okay, so they introduced this guy. Now, I call this Captain Bag of Donuts. Okay? Because this guy looks like every mall cop, every like door guard security Johnny Bag of Donuts carrying a taser. Yeah, I I don't want to go there, but sure, Stanley, as you said it. Yeah, so happy with themselves, so fat and happy with themselves. Just rolling that credit in his hands. Um, so we get that, and okay, sure, man was his name. Okay, I'll roll with it. And so we get this dude, and he comes in, and the whole room shuts down. Like, this is the head honcho on this facility, on this planet. This dude runs the whole port, right? And what a great character to introduce, because he's almost like mafioso, right? Like, I really dig how they not only introduce this character, but how this character is so like mafia, right? First he comes in and he's talking to the droid, right? And he tells the droid, he's like, yo, business is good, huh? Business, hey, oh, business looking good. There's a lot of customers, there's drinks are flowing. You gave me my usual drink, and hey, yo, oh, by the way, where's my slice, right? So he's got his captain open up the case for him, or his lieutenant. He's like, business looking good. So good for you. That's a good for me, right? So he opens his case. He takes his stash of credits. We see my man here. I'm going to play it for a second. You see my man here dropping a stack of creds, right? And everybody's happy. Goes great, right? So Viserys from Game of Thrones voiced him. Solid, great vocal to pull. Anybody from Game of Thrones, I love it. So anyway, he goes on about his business. He notices, who's the kid, basically, and comes over to the table. I love this moment because, again, this dude is a very mafioso imperial, right? So he's like, hey, yo, you're sitting in my seat. Get out of here, right? So he's telling this dude, look, you're in my seat and move, right? Which is very, very gangster, very mafia, right? So then we have Omega. He basically challenges Omega to a game, and of course, Omega whoops his ass, right? But let's see. Yeah, no wonder he sounded familiar. Exactly, right? Let's see. Obsession good. These first 4 episodes have been goodies. How appropriate that Imperial Fate. Yeah, there's a lot going on in these episodes, right? So anyway, these two are playing. He gets overconfident. He's like, I got you. And honestly, if it was me, I would have let him win personally. So basically, this guy, he tells Omega, your dog is a nuisance. Get your dog out of here. And they make the dog go outside. So Omega's, this guy's talking smack. They make her get rid of her dog. And he's like, yo, I got you. Plays this monster hand. Everybody oohs and ooh, ah.
Ooh, ah.
Right? Everybody's oohing and on. And then she's, if it was me, I would have let him win. That's just me. I would have let him win. But she's like, nah, fam. That's cute. You think you got me. That's cute, bro. Sorry, not sorry. And she whammos it on him, right? And so everybody cheers, everybody's excited. And then this guy is such a piece of trash, right? Like, look, if you lose fair and square, right? You don't cry. ill will, especially if you're like this. Well, I guess in that regard, a lot of those guys don't like to lose, so they do punish the person in another way, and that's kind of what this dude does, right? So again, it goes back to that mob mentality, right? That arrogant mentality, right? So he gets beat, and then he tells his guards, he's like, "Yo, arrest him for gambling on my planet is illegal." And there's a fine. And so she pays, basically he's like, it's 10,000. So she pays the pot. So he basically loses only 10,000 of his losses. So she pays it. She's a good Samaritan. She's trying not to let Crosshair kill everybody. What everybody fails to realize in this episode is the entire episode, there are two beasts that Omega is traveling with, right? There is Betcha, that is a trained beast, that is a happy, like a pet, like a dog. And then you've got the monster to her right that's Crosshair. And he is just chomping at the bit to tear people's heads off. That's what people don't realize about this episode. This episode, look at her face. Look at her face. She's losing patience. She is losing patience. She is so sick of looking at these people and everybody one-upping her that people don't realize, literally through this whole episode, they're chaining up the wrong beast, right? Crosshair is a monster, and he's got a blaster, right? It may be a piece of shit Imperial blaster compared to what he wants to shoot with, but what everybody forgets is he's a monster, and she's got him on a leash of his own making. And so Omega, and they go through their credits, and they're like, all right, we got 35. We needed 30. We got 35. We're good. Until they step outside. Womp womp. Until they step outside. And as soon as they step outside, they realize Betcha's gone. The dog is gone. The Imperial came out of there. So then they get hustled by this little guy, right? This little guy hustles them. This little guy hustles them. I thought this little guy was going to be something cool. He wasn't, but that's all right. He wasn't as cool as I was hoping he was going to be. But so he kind of bribes him. This little dude bribes him. He says, "No, give me $5,000. Give me $5,000. Give me $5,000, and I'll tell you everything." So she gives him 5,000 credits. He tells them where Betcha was. Now, again, here it comes back to Omega's empathy. And this is where people get a little confused, right? People have this misconception, right? So we have this moment here. Now, look, people have this misconception, and they do this with me all the time. People have this misconception that kindness and weakness are the same thing, right? That having empathy and showing compassion and love, for that matter, for somebody else or something else is a weakness. Now, take that and interpret that as you will, but in my experience, that kind of person is the more dangerous person. So in this moment, Omega is going after Betcha. And Crosshair says, "What are you doing? Spaceport's that way. It's just a dog. Forget about it. Let's go." And she throws him the credits and's like, "Yo, go, my guy. I don't leave people behind. I don't know what school you went to. I don't know who taught you." Right? So, but she basically says, "I don't leave people behind." And that's something I learned from you guys. And I thought that's something that you guys understood also. So in this moment right here, she's basically like, I've had enough. Either you're in or you're out. I don't want this halfway shit anymore. Either you're in or out. So you're out, go. I'm gonna go find Betcha and we'll figure out our own way off the planet. You go ahead and get on, right? And so it's funny because she challenges him to be a better person. Everybody looks at her and thinks that she's weak because one, she's a girl, and two, because she is empathetic and has compassion. But every time that has worked to her advantage, right? Every time she's helped a Harrison Dula or another person, it's always benefited her on the back end, right? This is kind of the same Luke Skywalker-ish mentality. Anything he did for people, it worked out to benefit him on the back end, right? So she challenges him and says, "Go. You're going to go, go. I got to go get my friend," right? And proceeds to step into a hurricane of Imperials and blaster fire and all kinds of nonsense. But uh and then we see this crate shows up with an absorbent amount of security, and it's making real familiar sounds. Now, everybody wants to say this is the Zillow Beast. Everybody is like,
Oh my God, it's the Zillow Beast!
right? Because everybody wants to see the Zillow Beast, as do I. But yes, I'm with you on that. It's probably judging by the tentacles and the size, it looks very much like our friendly Rathnar from the sequel trilogy, in which Han and Chewie are hunting Rathnars. But again, it kind of teases us with those noises. Anyway, so we see this crate show up. There's a lot of security. You can see, obviously, this is an exotic animal farm. Again, Crosshair shows back up and basically in this moment has picked a side. He's decided. He's like, look, you got me out of jail. Where you go, I go. Right. It's a big part of his story arc here is his this is his redemption road with Omega. Right. And so this is a big part of the story that they're putting together, that will show its hand at the end of this episode. I wonder if he has him do the Empire. Yeah. Um, yeah, they're like Harry Potter villains. Excuse me. They're like Harry Potter villains. They're just trying to get rid of all the fun, unique animals. But anyway, so these two scale a wall. They go get into some trouble. They meet up with their friend was waiting for them. We all knew this was a trap, right? I mean, I think everybody that watched this episode was like,
Omega, Omega, Omega. Have you learned nothing, little one? Girl, you know this is a trap, right? You're not that dumb and young, right? I mean, shit. Even Crosshair knows this is a goddamn trap.
so she walks into this trap. Old boy is there waiting for her. Old Commander Bag of Donuts is sitting there waiting for her, and basically is gonna hustle her out of another 10,000 credits to get all his money back, saying that you need a pet license. You don't got a pet license. It's gonna cost you. And then we'll all sit here together and wait for Hemlock to show up. So she says something, and I think that's the name of this episode. I think it's at the end of this episode. And I'm going to pull up the closed caption just so I can see it. So, come on. So she says, she's basically been trying to do everything without killing anybody. She doesn't want to hurt anybody, right? That's her thing. And so, she tries to give up the money. She's like, "All right, man, look." She says something unique, right? She's talking to Crosshair, and who has been itching to get off the leash all day, right? The whole day he's been wanting to pick up his blaster and just start messing people up the whole day. But she's like, "No, no. Put your blaster down. No, no. Put your blaster down," right? All day. And finally, she's like, "Fine. Let's do it your way." And the first thing out of his mouth, right? She says, "All right, let's do it your way." She's hesitant. Look at that face. She doesn't want to do this, right? She doesn't want to hurt anybody. She's tried the whole day to not hurt anybody. And the first thing he says is, "Finally." Finally. Finally, I get to mess some people up. Finally, I get to shoot somebody. But it's amazing how much influence this young clone has on these guys, right? It's pretty awesome how much influence this little clone has on these guys, right? So yeah, what a great scene, because she's trying the whole day. It's so painful to watch, right? Because eventually he's just going to start messing some people up, but it's so awesome for him to listen. And it just, okay, put your blaster down, put it, it's gonna be, hold it, put it down, it's okay. Shh. And then finally, he's like, "All right, I'm gonna mess some people up." And she ducks and covers, and then it's an all-out blaster. What's great is he's completely surrounded. She goes for the computer console to release which we kind of foresaw if you were watching. Yeah, Plan 72, basically, right? Executed. But they're a battle. She goes for the pens, lets all the pretty animals out, and then they proceed to wreck house. Betcha messes up our Imperial Guard friend, steps on him one last time. They take their credits, and I guess there's a couple of poetic justice moments, right? Betcha gets on the craft and they're powering up the engines, but then we get this moment where our Imperial friend goes to shoot Crosshair, and there's this great moment where we get to see a little bit of justice, at least justice in our eyes, right? So we get to see a little justice watching a Rathnar devour our friendly bag of donuts. And you know what? In their eyes, I bet you Commander Bag of Donuts was probably really tasty, because he was so fat and juicy to them. He probably was delicious, right? Okay, so Bag of Donuts gets it. "Sorry, Commander, you're out." And then our friends steal a ship, and then we get this moment here where we hear the Delta telling Hemlock that they got away, and how he's disappointed, and that sucks, and whatever. So they get away. They find the vessel. It gets away. Everybody's happy. Omega puts in a call to the boys on an encrypted line, and we see the Marauder from the cockpit before we get there, right? So we see them coming out of hyperspace at the rendezvous, and then we see the Marauder as Omega starts to pilot, which I find funny. Again, I find it funny that this little clone is piloting, right? Yeah, she got all this training from Tech, and that's dope, and that's great, but it's amazing that she's the one piloting. She's the one coming up with ideas and plans. He's just following. So to me, this is great, dude. So they see the Marauder before they even get there. Bada bing, bada boom. Oh, I can't play. I don't want to play it and get nagged. They land again. Her landings becoming top notch, right? And again, here we go. This is what Matt Cave and I were talking about this earlier. We get this moment where Omega comes down the lift, and I'm gonna even keep the music off for this. Omega comes off the lift, and the look of joy on her face, right? So we get Omega, she's happy, and then we get, this moment where Wrecker sees Omega for the first time. Now this is like, and I don't want to throw any digs, but this is like two kids that haven't seen each other getting back, that have been looking for each other, find each other. If you didn't cry a little bit, even shed one silent little tear during this reunion, I'm sorry, but if this didn't get you, I'm going to play it. If I get sniped for it, I get sniped for it. If you didn't shed a little tear, a little tear during this moment right here, right? If that didn't get you, you are a heartless piece of shit. I'm sorry. That moment was beautiful, right? That moment is beautiful right there. That's the kind of writing that gets you in the feels, right? That makes you, tears you up, right? You're like, shut up, you're crying. I'm not crying, you're crying, right? So we get this wonderful reunion. These two have a wonderful hug. Wrecker talks about searching the galaxy 4 times around for her, and then Hunter comes out and says, "No, we've searched the galaxy 5 times, and you're the one that found us. How did you do this?" Right? Well, then there's a beautiful hug between these two. This is, again, if you're a parent, if you're this gets you in the feels, right? This is what Star Wars is great at. Star Wars is great at kicking us in the feels and making you look at another man and going, "I don't know what you're doing. You're crying. Shut up. I'm not crying." Right? I don't know any other about you, but this got me in the feels. Right? Such a great reunion, such a great, amazing feeling as a Star Wars fan, right? You get that reconciliation the second week into the show, right? They didn't waste any time. They did a couple of episodes where they were showing some background stuff. They were getting into it, and and then she gets a little help from her friend, or she had a little help. She doesn't even say her friend. Hunter asks, "How did you escape?" And all she said is, "I had help." And then the tables turn. And then the line completely shifts 180. And we get this moment here, which is what the thummy was, is this moment here, which is the moment, man. Right here. He walks down and boom, there it is. The reunion -1. Do they blame him for Tech being gone? Do they blame? I mean, they blame him for everything, I'm sure. But this moment right here, you know, Crosshair shows himself and everything stops. It's like, what is it? What? What? You came with what you I he what, but how, what, I'm shit, right? And that's what everybody's thinking. Everybody in this moment right here. I can't. Do they go to their faces, or do they just cut away? I can't remember. Yeah, they do. Everybody in this moment is like,
shit, shit, shit.
everybody in that moment is thinking the same thing. Right? Omega's like,
Oh shit! Are they gonna fight? I think they're gonna fight. Are you guys gonna fight? Oh shit! Should I have told him? I mean, you just came down the stairs. You just came down the stairs. Oh man, shit! They look so mad. Oh man.
That's what I pictured. That's what that scene is to me. It's so good. It's so good. And then that's how the episode ends. Just with everybody looking at everybody, right? Again, here it is again. Here, right? Ready?
Shit. Just so good.
So good, man. It's such amazing writing. It's such amazing writing. And then they're all together. And then we're gonna see what happens. Are the brothers gonna duke it out? Is it gonna be Crosshair versus Hunter first, or is it Crosshair versus Wrecker? Do we get a tag in, Omega tagging in on either side? Like, what's going on here? I don't know. They look angry as hell. The words are going to be, they're going to throw some fisticuffs, maybe. There's definitely going to be some words. Yeah, come on. You like my mom figure. Come on, forget about it. Right? And then, they're going to hash it out, but I mean, is it going to be an ass beating? I mean, I don't know if you guys have siblings, but sometimes you just got to throw, fisticuffs. You just got to take off the watches, put the hats down and, you have some thoughts. Oh, well, I'm sorry if you are offended, but forget about it. You know what I mean? Yeah, man, it's a really good episode. I got to be really honest. I'm really digging the series. I'm bummed out that this is like the season 7, or even this is even go further back. This is like season 6 of the Clone Wars, and then we got season 7, and it feels the same way for season 7, that this is the end. We got Bad Batch that felt like an extension of the Clone Wars, right? So it didn't feel like it was gone but not gone, and no one's ever really gone. And then now we're in the 3rd season. Now we're in the final season, so there's going to tie up a lot of loose ends. Look, I supremely believe everybody dies. One way or another, if Omega's caught, there's a video that I watch on the daily right now that is how most sequel people feel, and why they don't like these shows is because these roads are leading to the First Order, are leading to the Snoke cloning, are leading to right. Yeah, man, I potentially think even Omega could be on the block. I think that could be potentially the final curtain and a really dark ending to a show, like a lot like Andor. I feel like they could potentially end this series a lot like Andor, where everybody dies, right? It could get real dark. Yeah, I mean, they might fight it out. We're gonna see. But this show has this feeling where I'm excited, just like I was for Bad Batch season 7. I'm very excited for the show as a whole, and I'm very excited to watch every episode. But at the same time, I know that this is the end. I know that they're going to tie up a lot of loose ends. I know kind of what's coming in the end. How we get there, yeah, I don't think that as much as I know everybody's there, we're gonna have to see. Yeah, I mean, look, they're gonna end up strand casting some clones, so there's gonna be a lot of upset fans that are Disney Star Wars dislikers, right? There's gonna be a lot of angry people running around, so we're just gonna have to wait and see. But I know that a lot of this is leading to the sequels. I've been saying it for years that all roads lead to the sequels. They're not just gonna retcon or multi-universe or any of that stuff. We're moving forward. Some great stuff that's been happening so far. I got to be really honest. The way that they escape was not cheesy. The way that Crosshair's been on this leash, just waiting and waiting and waiting, and finally gets his moment. We get the Bad Batch back together, minus Tech. Everybody still thinks Tech is alive, and that's who that person is on Tantus. I don't think so. It's got similar physique. Cool. I mean, maybe they did it, but I think we would have potentially seen something leading to that. So we're just gonna have to wait and see. But yeah, overall, this show is really knocking it out of the park. I can't wait. Now, look, obviously, at the end, Hemlock says at the end of his scene, deploy all assets. That's a huge thing to say because all assets means the Bounty Hunter Guild, not just the Imperials, but the Bounty Hunters Guild. And that's a lot of people looking. That's the kind of people that had bounty pucks on the little guy, Grogu, during the Mandalorian, right? So I think there's going to be a lot. We could potentially get to see Bosk. We could potentially get. That's why we get to see Asajj. People remember, Asajj Ventress is not a Jedi or a Sith at this point. Asajj is a bounty hunter. She's there to collect bounty. She's not there to fight in the war. She's not there to pick sides. She wants the money. So when we see her, she's coming for the bounty on Omega. If she has to go through the boys to get there, so be it. So we could potentially, we know we're going to get Asajj. We know we're going to get Fennec. We know we're going to, I think we're going to get Boba. I think Boba is going to be the surprise appearance. I think Cad Bane, Bosk, Dengar, Asajj, Fennec. I think everybody is going to be on board. And I think this is how we get to this bounty hunter slash Boba Cad fight. I think the fight could have been over Omega, which makes it even more sick. Now, here's my crazy. Okay, so let's get into some of the backlog. Okay, this is now I'm going to pull back up another Disney Plus because I got a couple theories that I want to run by you guys at the end of this hour of power, because we got Matt Cave coming up with Way Back Wednesday. Way Back Wednesday is coming your way. So make sure after this stream is over, you guys get over there and check out that stream because it is fire. The stuff he has going on is amazing. Okay, so I want to get back to this scene. The boys and I were talking about it the other day. I'm going to get rid of the closed caption because we don't need it anymore. Okay. So let me go to present arms. Okay. So we get to this scene here. Let me get to it before I. Okay. So I have a theory that this. Oh my goodness. Okay, here we go. Finally. Okay, so this prison. Okay, let's see what we got here. First, yeah, there it is. Matt Cave has his first only member stream. So if you are not a member of the Matt Cave, get over to the Matt Cave, become a member. It's like $1 or $2. I think it's almost nothing to become a member. You're going to spend more on a cup of coffee. You're going to spend more on your morning breakfast than you are for a month subscription to the Matt Cave. So get over to the Matt Cave, get your subscription, get your members pass so that you can get into the member stream, because he has so much fun with all of his members as it is. Member stream tonight. Get over there, get hyped. It's great to see. Y'all have a good night. Grading papers. Go grade those papers. Thank you for being in the education business. We need more wonderful people doing that. Respawn, okay, has been canceled. Okay. Matt Cave is doing a member stream in 1 hour. 1 hour till the Matt Cave member stream. Okay, so back to this real quick. So, in case you guys, okay, before we there's a little bit of people in here. Before we blurt out what's going on, you guys will do ones and twos again. I believe there are Jedi in these security cases, right? In these cells. Put a 1 in the chat if you agree Jedi. Put a 2 in the chat if you think something else. I'm telling you, you know how to pay me. Just give me more of that merch. That fire ass merch. That's all you got to get me. That's my payment. All right. So Maximus with a 1. Stanley's with a 1. Okay, yeah, I agree. So, my theory, because the clones were not the clones were not differentiating between what Jedi to kill and what not. So any Jedi that were in the field working, or any at the temple, anybody that was out in the world is dead. Unless it's like an Obi-Wan, a Quinlan, the ones we know got away. And there were a few. And there's always going to be a few, right? In any genocide, you're never going to get everybody. It's almost impossible. However, this looks like it could be the prisoners, the Jedi prisoners. So think of Barriss, right? This could be one of those cells, could be Barriss or other captured Jedi that did not get the axe right away for whatever reason. Think of Master Luminara in Rebels. They had her in a similar container where just her bones were there to lure Jedi to her as a trap. There's another thing I noticed in this episode. I'm going to try to find it. Okay. I'm going to play it. They're probably going to get mad that I play it, but I'm going to do it anyway. So if you watch here, you never ever see Palpy grin. Okay? You never see Palpatine smile. This is the reason I know that there are Jedi in here. The reason I know 100% that there are Jedi in these containers is right here. Right? He opens it. Look at Palpy's face, right? He's going to smile for like a millisecond. It's hilarious. Watch. Smile. Frown. Right? He smiles for like a second until Hemlock tells him they're not quite there. But the second the doors open, that's not a Snow clone. That's not a Zillo Beast baby. No, dude. That is a Jedi that he is laughing at. Hopefully it's a master that we know. Hopefully it's like Luminara. That would connect so many dots, is that they just drain her blood for years and years to try to create clones, because she, was a decent Jedi master, probably had a high midichlorian count. And they just keep, taking sample after sample until they just suck all the blood out of her and she's dead. And that's it. But that's my theory, is that all of those cases, all of this stuff on Mount Tantus, they moved all of the Jedi, all of these cases over here. Now, what's in the middle? The middle could be the Zillo Beast clone, one of the Zillo Beast clones that's humongous. Could be. Absolutely, because I think we potentially might see the Zillo Beast on Mount Tantus. I'm not sure. And what a great place to put it, because it's an experimental facility and all that shit. But every one of these are Jedi, and I think he's trying to integrate the Zillo Beast some kind in the cloning process also. Maybe exterior armor, shell armor, some shit. I don't know. But those are absolutely Jedi. In my thought, those are the captured Jedi, kind of like Ponkrell, Barriss, Jedi that had betrayed the Order, that needed to be contained. This is the kind of, these almost look similar to the Mandalorian cages that the Mandalorian had for Jedi. So potentially Mace Windu. Look, dude, potentially Mace Windu. What a great opportunity for Mace Windu to get away, except I got another story for Mace Windu. But yes, I love where your head's at. Mace lives. I love where your head's at. Mace lives. Out of that many thousands, that's what I'm saying. There's so many that could have got left over. Luminara being there would work so well, because it tie into sequels so well. How they kept her body around for all this testing and all that stuff would be brilliant. Again, rebound storytelling. So, look, there's so much. This is the one that got me. I was like, dude,
look at that. Those are all Jedi. Look at Palpy smiling, bro. He's smiling. Now you never see him smile.
So that's where my head's at, man. Now, see, and somebody else was asking, what, like Vader's trophy case? No, I think those they could be still animated. They could be still alive and just being animated, but those look like dead trophies. So We'll see. I'm still leaning towards being, Palp Sunray's father, but Illuminara. Yeah, I just don't think they're at the cloning phase yet because they haven't found that body, that genetic sample that can hold the M count. So they would all be failed clones. They need Omega's blood to make that possible, right? She's the key to their whole cloning Palpatine ability here. I mean, really, the Disney haters and the sequel haters, really, they want Omega to die in this show without getting to Palpatine, because then we have no way to get there, right? And Nala Se would have to die at the same time, so all the knowledge of Omega goes away. But again, I think all roads are leading to the sequels. I think everybody is upset. I'm, in fact, wish I had a clip of my favorite YouTuber getting upset, realizing that they're connecting everything to the sequels. But yeah, I think everybody. I've really enjoyed these episodes. I'm looking forward to getting more into them. Yeah. Anybody? I think that's pretty much it. I know Matt Cave's got a stream in about an hour, so we're gonna try to get ready for that. We're gonna get some drinks on. Being as our Wednesday Bad Batch wrap up is basically finishing up here. But I gotta say, man, this show has me very motivated to make content. Oh shit. Somebody who hasn't streamed in a while, I wanted to stop by and say hi before we get out of here. Yo, is your mic's muted. What, have you not streamed in a long time? Is that what
It's
it
been
is?
a minute.
You haven't streamed in so long. Did you forget how to do this?
I don't know what I'm doing anymore.
Yeah, bro. What's going on? You look so clean shaven. You look so like, you good? You watched the show? What have you been doing?
I did. I watched it like an hour before you
Nice.
started this, I think.
What do you think?
We gotta talk about this. This.
You don't like Commander Bag of Donuts?
Nah, man, you got it wrong.
You don't think he's you don't read that? That's not how you read it. Is he like a bad cop? Is that it? Is he like
he's like 1930s crooked Irish cop.
Yeah, he's
down
like
to his accent.
He's like a prohibition cop, right?
That's where it is.
Okay, that's what it is. So I misspoke. He's that hustling cop.
He's who the mob's like knocked out of power. That's basically what happens.
Yeah, he's like the cop that's always on the pay, right? That's always on the take. He's like that dirty piece of crap. Yeah. Again,
whole episode was shakedowns. That's all he was doing.
This whole episode was about shakedowns and taking dogs off the leash. That's it. Because they let him off the leash at the end, and he's like, "Oh, I finally get to kill somebody. Oh, I'm so happy I get to kill somebody." He's been waiting all day to kill somebody. So
it was definitely fun. I like the breakdown. You went through the whole entire thing. I wasn't even expecting that.
Yeah, I miss these breakdowns. I love this animation shit. I love everything they're doing, connecting everything, putting all this shit together. So I'm having a great time watching this stuff and dissecting it. And it just gives me an opportunity to get in it a second or third time to dive in and find things I may not have seen before. But I think the writing's on the wall, man. I think they pretty much graffitied this shit on the wall as to where it's going. And I think we just need to hang on and see where it ends up,
Yeah. Skywalker's Academy is even saying the droid was Irish too. That's kind of
crazy. I mean, there's so much like prohibition era. Like this was a prohibition era town for sure. And yeah, you're totally right. That's totally the cop that comes and hustles you. Like
I'm sitting here eating my eggplant parm, just relaxing, Godfather in the background, and I got this guy with Roberto. Just tell me who's the mob guy. I'm like, what is happening right now?
You're absolutely right. I retract my previous statements. I put a retraction in public. That guy is absolutely Officer Bag of Donuts. That is 100%.
You tell nerd who's the mob guy?
No, you're right. You're right. Yes, he didn't make him an offer he couldn't refuse. He just, he just hustled him with his badge. So yeah, you're absolutely right. I retract my previous statements. You're 100% right.
And you didn't like the dog. Like, what's that all about?
Well, I mean, he knew he was going to use it for leverage later. So he was like, I'm gonna get her one way or another, right? That's such a cop move. Like, oh, you can't park your car there, but then you see it getting towed down the road. You're like, but the cop said what? Oh man, yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, I know a lot of people on the We Hate Star Wars train are not big fans of Omega, but I'm really digging the Boba Fett-esque intelligence level that's just going on with this character. The more I look at that character, the more I'm like, man, she is so smart, right? In all these little tricks of the trade, she's the one flying, she's the one coming up with plans, she's the one, and I get, Mary Sue and this and that, but it's just, I think it's great that the tactician that is Boba Fett is very much alive in this character. It's not just a clone repeat. That's what makes me continue to think that she's, maybe on the same lines as Boba's original code, right? Just like a pure genetic duplication.
Yeah, it's
So
a shame she's gonna have to die.
she is so gonna die. I think this
I-
show could be just as messed up as Rogue One. Honestly, I think everybody except the 3 clones that we see in Rebels together could be dead. Like
I double down going in further. I think we see Boba and he kills her. How
that
about
would be amazing. It would be so poetic if he delivered her to the Empire. Like, oh, that would be such a poetic, non-knowing backstab, right? Especially if she never sees his face. Like, oh man, that would be so good. Yeah. Oh, dude, she's so gonna die. I'm sorry to say it. She is definitely not gonna get the Grogu all expense paid package of protection. Like she is not gonna have a benefactor that rich to keep her alive.
Yeah, was it for like 3 years now? We've heard too. It's like, oh, she can't die. The merch opportunities. It's been 3 years and not selling anything in her name.
I've seen like Omega 3.5 action figures, and that's it. Like she is so expendable. Like I've seen like maybe the little action figures from like the Bad Batch, but that's about it. Aside from that, I haven't seen.
Matt Cave, they do a crawl at the end, and you realize it's actually the reading on the tombstone.
Yeah. Dude, this could be as bad as Rogue One. I mean, really, I knew the ending of Rogue One, but I was like, are they really gonna show? Yep, they showed us them getting bombed. Holy crap! Right?
Amazing.
It honestly, like watching her get drug into a lab by 4 deltas, like arms and legs dragged to a lab to get cut in half and dissected, would be like such a twisted way to end an animated show, but so Star Wars in that regard. Like, how could the Disney haters not like an awful ending like that, saying that Disney would never do it? I'm like, but they do Rogue One, but
it's like the whole reason we're into Star Wars at all is because the tragedy. It's basically a Greek tragedy of Darth Vader. That's what it is.
Yeah, and the violence was never taken off the plate, right? Like, dude gets his hand chopped off, where people get thrown down the chute. Like, there's stormtroopers dying and falling off of stuff left and right. They never really sugarcoated it, and then we get a couple of shows where they're really, really twisted. I'm about it. Like, I love everything that is the tragic ending. So give me Omega getting turned in by Boba, not knowing. I love all of that. That would be fun. I just hope we see him in this show.
I was thinking it had to be I thought it was going to be something like she forms a mini clone rebellion, and then the only 3 left are Wolf, Gregor, and Rex.
Well, I do think the clone rebellion is coming. I do think that somehow the clones have to get wiped off the map, and because of all the stuff they did in the early Bad Batch episodes, with the politics and the clone, like all of that stuff at the end of the end of Clone Wars and all those like clone politics and stuff, I think that's going to become an important factor in the clone rebellion, and that's why there's only 3 clones left, because they banded together. They found out they were testing on clones on Tantus, and that starts a whole clone rebellion that leads to everybody dying. Like, everybody's got to die. You can't see Hunter and Omega you fly off into the sunset to get lost. Like, I don't want to see that shit. I want to.
There's got to be a reason why Wolf and Gregor are so freaked out. Or which one? Is it Wolf that's so freaked out by the Empire? He like turns in.
Wolf with his implant. He's so terrified. That's what I mean. I think that whole reason, and not to mention, they decommission these 3, so they let them go. Right? The Empire knows what they are the whole time. They let them go. So like something has to transpire where these are the last 3, and they're like, guys, we'll let you go. Just stop fighting. Like, enough. Go. Here's your old Republic era piece of crap. go hunt some jupas and live your retirement, right? Something has to get those guys there. And I think a clone rebellion where they watch everybody die. Cody.
What if that's how we get to find out who's in those little Jedi crypts, and then we find out one of them's
That's what I'm
Asajj?
saying. I would love to see some of that stuff. Like if the Clone Rebellion releases the Zillo Beast there, then they lose a bunch of Jedi bodies, or do they transport them and we finally get to see, right?
Well,
like
you know one of them has to be Asajj Ventress. So
I don't think so. I don't think
we've already seen her in the trailers.
I think she, well, at this point she's a bounty hunter, right? Because at this point, yeah, when we last saw her in the Clone Wars, and she didn't even have lightsabers because
I still gotta do my reading.
They got stolen from her from Barriss. So she doesn't even have lightsabers when she's fighting Anakin. And she after that becomes a bounty hunter. And then she gets her yellow lightsaber from she did a job and then they were gonna pay her. So she's like, whoa, I want that lightsaber instead. And she takes that yellow lightsaber. So
doesn't it look like when you see her in the trailer though, like she's being released from something? Almost.
It looks, well, no, it looks to me like she's catching up with the Bad Batch that has Omega.
Maybe.
She's after Omega as a bounty. She, just like she did with when we see her capture Ahsoka. She's after the bounty. She wants the money. She's a bounty hunter. She cares zero about the war or sides. At this point, she's all about money. So I think we see her catch up to the Bad Batch, and then it's well, what does she do then? Is this going to be a Quinlan Voss thing where we start to see like the formation of the path and we have to start hiding valuable people from the Empire? I don't really want to see that.
It's hard to not forget how close this is to the end of the Clone Wars show. Like,
well, that and how not far off it is from Kenobi. I mean, it's only like 5 to 7 years till we see Kenobi's timeline catch up, right? Because this is like 3 years after, Kenobi's 10 years after, so there's like 6 or 7 years till we get to Kenobi. You know, what would be interesting if Omega was like one of the leaders of the path, and that's how they hide her. But I really don't want her to. I really want her to die. I got
to read this book that Stanley's talking about.
Dark Disciple.
Yeah, I have it. I just haven't started reading it. And
yeah, Dark Disciple fills in a lot of these gaps as to, you know, she's supposed to have a relationship with Quinlan, and Quinlan Voss and her are supposed to be in this relationship while she's a bounty hunter, and then we see Quinlan's name in Kenobi on the wall and on the path. So is she involved in that? There's a lot of those storylines that they're starting to connect. And they did come out and say Dark Disciple is connected to where we're at right now. So is it a little bit, I think it's before this is Dark Disciple.
I like this background you got now too. Is this something new? I haven't even been on StreamYard.
Yeah, I mean, I've moved some stuff around. I've gotten some taller pieces and a couple new lights, and yeah, I'm doing a little bit here and there, trying to organize it a little better. But
I just put out a short like a week or two ago just to make sure I didn't my channel didn't die.
Yeah. I took a couple months to decompress, and then I told myself I was going to do more as we got to Bad Batch and Acolyte, and then Star Wars After Dark is coming. So me and Sheev are going to Disneyland in the middle of the night. It's going to be awesome. So yeah, we're that's what I'm gearing up for. I'm trying to gear up for that because it's going to be on May the 2nd. Kyle Katarn is going to be there. Sheev and I are going to be there. There's a couple other streamers that I've heard that are going to be there. So it's going to be like a big like Comic-Con kind of meetup and stuff, running into people. I've seen a bunch of pictures. Cool. So yeah, it's going to be a legit good time. So I'm pumped. We got tickets and we're going to go have a good time, but that's pretty much what I'm gearing up for now that Bad Batch is here. I want to, I'm doing these Wednesday early. Yeah, it looks, I mean, Sheev always likes to dress up. He likes to play dress up. So he'll probably do it. If I do it, I have to do it right, which means I got to get a Jedi tunic and I already have the cloak and all that, but I'd have to.
Is that just the weekend or what?
They have select dates. There's like 16, 18. There's a couple in the end of April, and then May the 2nd, the 7th, and the 9th are the days there. So there's like 8 or 9 days total that they're doing. And So we're going on the 2nd, and then there's more coming with that also. We're gonna do some surprise shit. But yeah, we're gonna try to get some other streamers to go. I got a couple of extra. It looks like I might have a couple extra tickets, so I might see who's gonna
really. Is this in May or April?
This is in May, on May the 2nd. Yeah, so she's
Come
got
to the coast, have a couple laughs.
Come to the coast, have a couple laughs. It'll be great. But yeah, so we're gonna see what's what with all of this. But yeah, that's the thing I think we're most excited about. Hopefully, Sheev's healed up enough on the 2nd to where he could maybe do some stuff, but I don't know if he's still gonna be. I don't think he's gonna be able to like.
I mean, you can do a high five, right?
You can do a high five, but I don't think you can roller coaster yet. I don't think his back would be okay to roller. It might be by May. I don't know. He's a puppy, but yeah, I don't know. But I know that it's going to be awesome to be able to roam the park for a couple hours and map things out, because they give you access from 6 to 9, so you could come in during the after dark nights 3 hours before the park closes, so you can kind of check out what you want to do, and then from 9 to 1 a.m. the park is closed to everybody except people that have tickets to the after dark. So I don't know what it's like. I've seen pictures of like 1,000 people in Bakhtu holding up lightsabers.
Like 1,000 nerds,
dude. Yeah, and tickets went so fast. Like apparently it's a great time. So we're looking forward to that. May 2nd is the day right now that I think is the big day, but we're trying to set up something for earlier also. So yeah, we'll see what happens, man. But it's good to see you. It's been a long time since you've streamed.
Yeah, man. Chilling in my living room right now. It's a setup. I'm finishing hardwood flooring in my basement. Almost done though. So
there you go. Well, we're looking forward to watching you get things back up and running, and then you can come and hang out with us when we do Wednesday nights and any other
yelling then.
Then you can start yelling when you're in the basement. Yeah. When there's people right. Yeah, for sure. I feel you. That's why I love being in the studio, because I can get as loud and yell Ray and have fun as loud as I want. So but yeah, dude, we're gonna get out of here. I'm glad you came to hang out. So yeah, we're gonna jump. So hang out in the back if you want to hang out for a minute, and then I'm gonna close down. All right, everybody. I think that's about enough of my ranting, unless one of the other kids is going to come in and hang out. But look, ultimately the show is fantastic. I think everybody that I've talked to has been enjoying it so far. So, it's been great. So yeah, we're going to do this again next week. I think 4:00 is a good time, unless I have something else going on, in which case we'll do it sooner. But as always, look, don't forget, get out there, get your pet spayed or neutered, help control the pet population. As always, don't forget, tell everybody in your life how you feel, what you feel today, not tomorrow, not the next day, because you never know what tomorrow brings. Today is the day. So as always, thank you guys for being here. I appreciate every minute you guys hang out here. And as we try to grow this community more and more and get to a point where we can start giving back even further and further. So stick around. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't. Make sure to like everything that we're doing here, so we know what you guys like and don't. We're going to put out some posts, some community posts this week, to let you guys know what's going on, where you can catch us, and all that fun stuff. So as always, may the force be with you. Thank you for hanging out.